Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's a horse thing. Today I am doing what you guys have been waiting for, like, for the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna be going over and rating y'all's repaints, which can I just say thank you guys so much for sending me these and like trusting me to look at your repaints, because I was a little nervous there because I put the post up and the first 2 days I didn't get anything, but then the next day I got like 10 submissions. But thank you guys. I'm so glad you guys let me look at these. They're absolutely awesome. And just quick thing. So since I do have a grading chart, I'm not gonna say I'm super harsh, but if you did not get a check on something, I did go over what I think you should do in detail. So just so you guys know, I am giving a lot of feedback. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I mean, of course you guys submitted them, so I'm hoping that's okay. And also, I'm so sorry if I butcher your name like terribly. I tried to pronounce everything the best I could, but I apologize if I got it wrong. So now let's get into the video, which is what y'all have been waiting for. Up first, we have M Loves Camaros. So can I just say, I love the model you chose for this. Like, I might end up getting this one myself because this is absolutely gorgeous. But first up, creativity, yes. Effort, yes. Eyes. Okay, your eyes actually look super realistic, which is very surprising because a lot of people try to humanize them, but these actually look really, really nice. I like them a lot. So check on that. Hooves, well, you really can't see them super well, but from what I do see, it is a solid color. I would push you to just kind of like either add, those are just dots, hold on, just add like some stripings on the hooves or blend in a little bit of brown at the bottom, something like that. Shading is also, like, you did an amazing job on that. So the only thing I would say for that as well is you said you only used acrylics, which, like, great job for someone who only used acrylics. This is phenomenal. But I would just try to have you blend it in a little bit more over through these areas. Over here looks really good. Same with over here. In the face, you did very good blending through there. Other than that, yes, for shading. Markings, your markings are so pretty too. So I love that you did add the stripes, or herring is probably the better word, herring on that. The only thing is that you did not add herring up on the face, so I did wish you had a little bit like that, and I know that it's blue, just don't pay attention to that. However, your markings are amazing as well. Your mane and tail, you definitely have more than one color, which I love. You can definitely see the highlights and the lowlights in the mane all throughout there. It's super pretty. Amazing job on that. Coat color, beautiful. Realism, yes. And then chestnuts, yes, you do have them right there. I can see that there, which I'm glad that leg is showing because none of the other ones are. So I'm going to give you a check. Ooh, a check on that. So overall score, 9 out of 10. So next up, we have Breezefield Stables 3671. So creativity, yes. Effort, yes. Eyes, okay. So this is where I was talking about a little bit about how they look a little human. So I mean, we've all been there, trust me. If I have a picture of that, I will put it up here. See if I can draw an eye over here. So if you have an eye like this, a horse eye, I would leave a little bit of white in the front and maybe just a smidge in the back. I prefer more in the front than the back, but that's my personal preference. And then I would go in with black like this, which this is not very good. I'm trying. I have blue eyes, so I would have a little bit of blue just under the black right there, and then have a much bigger pupil. See, and even then I usually try and cover up most of the color in the back because that's just what a horse looks like. So I would push you to try and do something like that. For some reason I can't go back, but we're just gonna roll with it. And then hooves, so They do actually look pretty good. It definitely looks like you used more than one color. I just wish they were a little bit more solid because they look pretty patchy. Yeah, so same thing as I told M, to just have a little bit of muddy brown on that or add some stripings on it. Shading, so you said you did only use acrylics as well. So shading, and I think a lot of people miss this, is if you added shading. So if you have not watched my repaint tutorial, go watch that, and go watch my painting materials video as well, although I think a lot of you guys have seen that already. It explains exactly what pastels I use, which is pan pastel, and where you want to apply shading. So I almost never apply shading on top of white unless it's down on the more bottom parts of the leg, but just the black area too. If you want to take even black pastel and just put it over here and put it on the shoulder right there, the back, underneath. The neck is pretty darkened. But yeah, I mean, I understand that's a little hard to do shading on a black horse, but since it does look like, I know black can't be a light black, but like just the black pastel as shading, I think would show up and it would look pretty good. Markings, so they look pretty good. I am definitely glad that you have the jagged points and for the herring and not just a straight line, because there are a lot of people who would just do a straight line. By the way, I love the heart right here. However, I do just wish your markings were, the herring was a little bit thinner, because if you look right here, that is just big points coming out right there. I just wish that they were much smaller like that instead of something big and pointy. However, they do look pretty good. Mane and tail, so I'm not sure if it's the lighting, but the tail looks like it has more than one color, although the mane looks pretty solid, so I'm not entirely sure about that. But I do, yeah, so I would recommend adding some highlights and some lowlights in here, with maybe a bit more of a tan color. You can even just blend it in. I'll like blend in my stuff, especially on the ends of the tail, which is what it looks like you did. So I'm gonna give you a half point on this. Coat color, beautiful. And bonus details, I don't see any, and I'll give you a half point on realism. Oh, well, you guys know what I mean. Chestnuts, I'm not seeing any, because they would have been like right here. And I think they go right there, and I'm not seeing them. Great job on this. Your overall score is, I can't count, 5 out of 10. Okay, up next we have Liv T. She did use a Briar stablemate here, and you also said you only used acrylics, which is kind of awesome because this also looks really good. So creativity, yes. Effort, yes. Eyes, I mean, I'm trying to look at the eyes right here. It does look like you did very similar to what M did in the first one, and kind of what I was trying to explain in the last one, so I'm going to give you a check on that. The hooves, okay. I'm trying to tell if you did the hooves at all. They just blend. This just looks like it's gray, and this looks like a very light tan. Although I do wish, same as what I've been saying, if you could mix in, I'm not switching between colors anymore, if you could mix in a little bit of brown here, and these add in some gray, or even a little bit of a tan color brown, just so it looks like they've been like walking around in the mud. Shading, so you said you only used acrylics. Oh, oops. However, you do have very nice shading on the legs right here. And a lot of good shading on the muzzle. I just wish you could have, if you do end up using pastel, I recommend you put some more on the back and then a little bit on the shoulder, because you do have that spot right there where you would see it. It does look like there's a little bit through the neck, although I'm not sure. And then you do have some going down this way. So I'm going to give you a check on that. Markings look great. You did do the little herring that I've been talking about. It's very pretty. Looks very good. Mane and tail also looks really nice. The only thing I would say here too is if you took the black and you just like had a little strip that's not a good, hold on. You just added a little like line, you know, just to go into the white so it looks a little bit more blended, and like the hair has been moving around. I don't know how to explain that, like they've been in the wind, you know. And then you can still have this whole area right here just be a solid white. A plus on that. Coat color, beautiful. Realism, yes. Chestnuts, I do not see them because they would have been right here and over here, and I do not see them. However, amazing job. Your overall score is, I cannot count again, an 8 out of 10. Alright, so this has credit to Emma, which we were having trouble finding out Emma's YouTube at, so it's just Emma's name. And Emma gave such a cute little backstory, so I'm going to kind of summarize what Emma said. So this horse is one that does lessons at some summer camp, and the campers wanted to have some fun and paint pretty little colorful stuff all over it, which you can definitely tell that the campers had fun doing this, and this horse is an amazing lesson pony. I just want to say I appreciate the little story time so much. That was such a cool thing to add with your submission. Thank you, Emma. So creativity, yeah. Effort, yes. Eyes, okay. So what horse was this? Animal Planet, okay. I personally do not have any Animal Planet horses, so I'm not entirely sure how big this is. Although I do wish you had just added, I can't zoom in anymore, a little bit of black right there, which that looks kind of creepy, but you get what I'm trying to say. A little circle of black, you can leave the blue and the white. I do just wish it had a little bit of black in it. Hooves, wow, the hooves are definitely super colorful. Again, I just wish that you had added a little bit more color in the bottom. Some highlights and some lowlights, I guess, is the best thing. So, like, if you just wanted to have a darker pink at the bottom, a darker blue, a darker orange, and then, like, some brown on this one, that would have been great, too. Shading, you also said you only used acrylics. So, if you do end up using pastels, which is my personal preference, I use pan pastel. Go check out my painting materials video and my repaint tutorial. They will both be linked down below for any of you guys wondering. However, I would have just taken a light brown and add some on the back here, a little bit here underneath, around the eye, and a little bit on the muzzle and the neck as well. Mane and tail, I love it because you did go in and add some color on it. Again, although if you had taken like a darker brown than this, but a lighter brown than this, and you had gone in and just, even just with the dry brush, I don't know if you guys know the dry brush technique, but it is just a dry brush, and you put a little bit of paint on it, a tiny bit, and then you just like run your brush over it, you could have had some brown highlights on top of it. So I will give you a half point on that because you did go in down here with the tail with some separate colors. Coat color looks pretty good. Realism, be a half point on that. And I do not see chestnuts here because they would have been down here, and yeah, I would have seen it down there unless you did add them. I'll give you a half point because I can't tell. Yeah, let me know because I'm not entirely sure. Your overall score is a 5 out of 10. Great job. So next up we have Incognito Schleichs. I have this model, and I think the Appaloosa fits her super well, actually. You also said you only used acrylics, but here. Creativity, yes. Effort, yes. Eyes, okay. It looks like your eyes are just black, so I would have tried to have you have just a dot of white in the corner over here. That's too far away. Hold on. Just a dot of corner over here in the white in the eye, or in the front over here. I would preferably only choose one of those. I don't feel like you need both, so you could just add some in the front and it would have looked like that. Hooves, let me see. You do look like you had more than one color, and they're not solid color hooves. because it looks like I see some tan mixed in. I can't speak today. Some tan mixed in there with the dark brown paint. So I'm going to give you a plus on that. Shading, I'm going to give you a half point, and here's why. So you did add shading through here and through here. You might have added some on the back. I cannot really tell. So I do wish you had added some on the legs right here at the joints. And I wish this was blended out a little bit more blended out more into the regular coat color, because it does look like it's just a stick, like a stripe. You did have some up here, which this actually does look pretty good. Markings, I love the Appaloosa markings. So you didn't make this a straight line either, and you do have that herring going out, which I appreciate so much. I love the darker colored Appaloosa spots down here. If you added herring up here, I wish you could have put some herring down here on the hooves. I just feel like that would have been put it right over the edge. For I'm going to give you a check on that. Mane and tail, I'm trying to figure out, it looks like this is black or a darker brown and this is a lighter brown, but it could also just be the lighting. But I mean, if I'm looking at it, it looks like you did different colors. I'm going to give you a check on that because that looks pretty good. Coat color, great. Realism, yes. Bonus details. Okay, I cannot see if there's chestnuts, but from what I'm looking at over here, it doesn't look like there's any anyway. However, amazing job. Your overall score is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. There we go, 7.5. So next up, we have Lexi SSO Roblox Equestrian, which I love your username because those are like 2 amazing games right there. So you also just used acrylics. So creativity, yes. Effort, yes. Eyes, let's see. The eyes actually look like you did a pretty good job because this looks like it's a lighter brown, and then over here that looks like black. Again, I do wish you just had a little bit of white right here in the front to kind of distinguish it a little bit better. However, I'll give you a half point on that. Hooves, doesn't look like the hooves were painted, which I can understand because that is definitely some very flowy feathering. However, you could, or is it gray? Hold on. It looks like a metallic color, which I could see for horseshoes, but I don't know. This is confusing me a little bit. However, I do wish you had added some brown at the bottom where you could, and then add in the horseshoes as a lighter piece, like a thinner piece. So if you had the brown here, you could have just had the the horseshoes on the bottom right there. Shading, so again, as I've been saying, please guys just invest in pastels. It is amazing. You could have added pastels here, or if you just want to stick to acrylics, be very careful and blend it in, please. It does look like you added it right here. However, as I have said, that is definitely some of the lightest parts on the horse. If you're going to do shading, it's actually going to look more like this, and this be darker than this, because these areas are usually very, very light. And some shading on the shoulder. And it looks like you did some here, but it's a little hard to tell with the lighting. And it also looks like you did some up here as well. So I will give you a half point on that, although I do just recommend you getting pastels. I will link pan pastels down below for you guys to check out. Markings, this side actually looks pretty good. And then we get down here and this looks like a straight line for the most part. So again, I wish you had added herring, a little bit more herring details right there. And you don't have any markings on the face. So I will give you a half point on that because you did do it for part of them. Mane and tail. So mane and tail are just a solid color. They look very, very similar to the body color, and this just looks like almost the same color. I mean, I can tell that it's a little bit darker, but I wish it was a little bit more prominent or you had added in more highlights and lowlights, so like some lighter gray here, but then some darker gray over here. Coat color looks really good, so I think you were going for a Fleabane gray, which is what I assume because you submitted this right after I made my post about a Fleabane gray. So I used a super thin down paint with water, so I would like wet the brush and then dip it in the paint, but then put it back in the water and I would splatter it, and then you could have a lot more little dots and not such big clumps. I'll give you half on coat color, half on realism, and then I do not see any chestnut because I know I would have seen it down here and up here, and I do not see that. However, your overall score is a 4.5. Great job, Lexi. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please click the subscribe button down below, click the like button, leave a comment, and leave a video suggestion if you have any. I really need video suggestions. If you guys can leave me anything. If you did submit your repaint and there's something you have a question about or want to ask or say, go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you guys so much for watching. And again, thank you guys for all your submissions. Bye. And please consider checking out my Etsy. My shop name is Kara Horsecrafts. I sell tack and also custom horses. The link is down below if you want to check it out. Thank you.